Do you want to improve your trading? Learn how to trade on MT5 with Lenny Volpasella as he walks you through the ins and outs of MetaTrader 5.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending where you're tuning in from. My name is Lenny Volpasella, and I am the Global Desk Team Leader and Senior Trader Trainer. A little about myself, I follow price action and fundamentals as a trader. I've worked for a series of the world's biggest CFD brokers, and originally I started off my career in the physical FX space as a derivatives dealer. More or less, my expertise lies within the currency market, indices, and commodities. Now, through this evening, I'm going to be doing an in-depth introduction to MetaTrader 5, and some of the things in which I will be covering is the market watch list and the instruments in which are available through ACY securities to trade. I'm going to show you how to utilize one-click trading. I'm going to explain position sizing. I'm going to go through deal specifications. I'm going to go through charting indicators and how to set parameters within those indicators. I'm going to explaining limit orders, and I'm also going to be showing you throughout a series of tools and functionalities in which can give you flexibility when trading. Before we move forward, I do need to go through the risk disclaimer. So the information in this presentation does not contain and should not be construed as containing personal financial or investment advice or other recommendations, or an offer of or solicitation for a transaction in any financial instrument. No representation or warranty is given as to the accuracy or completeness of the above information. Consequently, any person acting on it does so entirely on his or her own risk. The information does not have regard to the specific investment situations and needs of any specific person who may receive it. ACY Securities accepts no responsibility for any use that may be made of the comments and for any consequences that result. Trading involves risk. Refer to our disclosure document at www.acy.com. And I will leave it at that. Now, moving forward, let's jump straight in. I'm going to jump over to the MT5 platform. Now, ideally, once you've either set up your demo or live account, this is initially what you're going to see. You'll see your balance, you'll see your equity, you'll see your free margin, and you'll have this, in my opinion, not so great looking green, black, and white chart behind you. So the first thing we're going to do is make some changes to our chart. The first thing we're going to do is right click and head over to properties. And then from there, we can utilize whichever color scheme in which we wish. What I like to do is I like to have a white background, a clear foreground. I do not like to have a grid. And this is, again, this is down to a personal preference. So for my bull candle, I like to have it green. For my down, my bear candle, I like to have red. And that's pretty much as simple as it comes for the chart in which I like to set up. Done. All right, now, first thing I'm going to go through, as mentioned, is the market watch list. Within the market watch list, this is how you're going to access an array of instruments in which you're able to trade. It's going to allow you to pull up the different charts in which you can utilize. It's going to be able to allow you to access trading menus also. But first things first, what we do need to do, if you do not have your market watch list set up, it's quite simple. We head over to view, we go to market watch, or we can hit Control M as the hotkey. And then from there, we will have this watch list down the side. Now, obviously, these are not all the instruments in which we offer. ACY Securities has over 1,600 tradable instruments in which you can utilize through the platform. Now, to access those instruments, there's a number of ways in doing so. First is I can double click to add. So let's just say I'm looking for a GBP pair. Let's say GBP AUD pops up. I hit enter and it'll go ahead and add it into my market watch list. The other alternative is that I can right click anywhere on the watch list and I can go to symbols. And from here, I will have access to all the tradable instruments in which is offered through our MT5 platform. So first things first, we have our Forex pairs. We have a series of crosses, majors, and exotics. If I was simply to double click on any of those, you can see it reflects straight into the watch list. Eurosec pops up straight away. From there, we have our stocks, and our stocks are divided into the different exchanges in which are on offer. We have the NASDAQ, NYC, and ASX. So if I was looking for a tech stock, I could click on NASDAQ. I could look into my top value shares, and this is where we're going to find some of the big players like Amazon, Apple, Costco, all the rest of it, right? Moving on from there, NYC, top value, ordinary. So if we go to our ordinary, mid to lower cap shares. And then we also have our ETFs, exchange traded funds. Moving on from stocks, we have our indices. So we have our major indices, something like the DJ30, the France 40, the DAX, otherwise known as the German 30, S&P 500, ASX, and then we have our miners as well. The Nifty 50, otherwise known as the India 50. We have the Swiss 20 index, a series of minor indices in which you can trade. From there, we have our crypto list. So within the crypto list, we've just recently added new cryptos to the platform, and hopefully we continue to add them given their popularity within trading. So in here, you'll be able to find things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, and so on. Moving on from the cryptocurrencies, we have our commodities list. So we have our energy commodities where you can trade Brent and West Texas. In our metals, you can trade gold against various G10 currency pairs. From there, you have your exotic metals where you can trade palladium, silver, platinum. And then you have your commercials such as copper, gas, aluminium, lead, zinc, and nickel. We also have Forex zero instruments. Now these instruments, they change depending on which account types you opt for. Through ACY Securities, we have a standard account, we have a Pro Zero and a bespoke. And what that'll entail is different account types which are built around different pricing in regards to spreads and commissions. So you can see in the Pro Zero, what it means is zero spreads, raw spreads, which entail a commission on a round turn trade. I can touch on this a little bit more thoroughly at a later time, but for now, more or less, I want to stick to going through the in-depth platform walkthrough. So once we've utilized our watch list and we've built it in respects to how we want to have it, we can have a series of currencies. If that's what you're looking to trade, you can chop and change your watch list for ease of use. But let's say for this evening, we're going to base our trading off the AUD USD. All we simply need to do is if I hold down my left cursor and drag it into the middle of the screen, from there, I will be able to see the chart as displayed. All right. And from here, I can see currently I'm on a daily chart. I can shift that down to a 4-hourly, a 1-hourly. I can even go up to a monthly chart. Now, when we are looking at these red and green candles, quite simply, each candle will represent the time frame in which we have the chart set to. So if I do have it to a daily chart, each candle will represent 1 day's worth of movement. If I was break it down to a 30-minute chart, each candle which is represented will signify 30 minutes of price action until that candle is closed. Keep it on the daily for now. Also, you don't need to have it set as candles. You can have it set as a line chart, or you can set it up accordingly to how you please. My preference is candles, but each to their own. You can trade whichever you find best visually pleasing. You also have the ability to set up quintiles. I don't have that set up at the moment. I like to see a full screen chart, but one thing you can do is you can minimize a chart and you can set up different quintiles. So if I was to drag a series of charts in and hit, so what I would need to do is open up a new chart window. And then from there, I could arrange them if need be and have a series of charts open at the same time. Quite simple. Head back over to the AUD USD. Now, in regards to this, as I mentioned before, we have a balance, we have our equity, and we have our free margin. What I wanted to display is how to utilize one-click trading and how when you are setting up a trade that can impact your balance, your equity, and your free margin. And from there, I want to explain a little bit more in depth in respect to position sizing, right? So let's say we're looking to trade the AUD USD. One thing we can do is right-click on the chart and we can have our one-click trading menu. From here, we have our buy price, our sell price. Down here, we have our current mid-market rate on the AUD USD. From here, we can see a discrepancy in between the buy price and the sell price. This is otherwise known as the spread. So when you're buying into the market, the spread in which entails is you will get in at a higher price point. Now, once the market creeps above that price point, that's when your trade will turn into a profit. And ideally, this is how brokers will make their money. And essentially, it's like a commission, but what we do call it is a spread. As for the sell side, obviously, we need the market to go down. I'll explain this a little bit more in depth in a moment. But as the market covers that spread and shifts below the secured sell price is when your trade will move into a profit. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with going long and going short or buying and selling, quite simply, if I was looking to buy the Aussie dollar right now here at 71.09, 71.10, I would obviously need the market to go higher. I would need the Aussie dollar to track closer towards 72 cents. Yes, and that's when my trade would start to turn a profit. On the flip side, the great thing about MetaTrader and trading CFDs is you actually have the ability in which you can short sell the market. What I mean by that is if you were to sell the Aussie dollar against the US dollar, as the market continues to fall or shall it fall, you will make profit to the downside. So more or less, that's what it means to buy and sell. It doesn't mean if I buy and then I hit sell, it's going to close out my position. This is not the case by any means. Now, to break it down, when we're trading currencies in itself, we're talking in lot value. So one thing we can trade is micro lots, mini lots, and standard lots. So the smallest position size in which you can trade on a currency pair and the flexibility that the platform gives you is a micro. And a micro lot is 0.01. Now, 0.01 is the equivalent to 1,000 Aussie dollars. Right? That is your position size. From there, a micro lot would be equivalent to 10 cents per pip. Now, those of you who are unfamiliar with what a pip is, if we have a look here, we have 0.71072, right? So these last three decimals, we'll go by the last two, are your pips, and the little one at the end is known as a pipette, right? So if we say the Aussie dollar went from 71.10 to 71.11, it's gone up 1 pip. So that 1 pip on a 0.01 position size would be the equivalent to 10 cents. All right. Now, if we were to trade 0.1, so if I was to type in the top here, 0.1, this now would be equivalent to 10,000 in the base currency being AUD against the USD. And the pip value would be equivalent to $1. So every movement up by 1 pip is $10, is $1. So from 71.10 to 71.11, that would be $1 profit. Or if it was from 71.10 down to 71.09, that would result in $1 loss. One standard lot is equivalent to 100,000. And this would be equivalent to $10 per pip, up or down. So let's say here we were looking at the Aussie dollar. And this is just going to be a hypothetical trade. There's no reasoning behind the trade, just more or less to explain how this works. Let's say we were looking to buy the Aussie dollar at 0.1. Once I click buy, my trade will appear on the chart in which I entered. And initially you can see we started at a negative, and that was the spread in which we had paid. Once the market comes above where we entered and covers our spread, our trade will then move into a profit, right? Now, as mentioned before, we have our balance, we have our equity, and we have our margin, our free margin, and our margin level. So our balance is obviously how much we have in our trading account. From there, our equity is based upon our profit and loss. So we can see right now we're tracking at minus $1.27. So we can see here our equity is minus $1.27 or so below our balance. Right, then we have the margin in which we're utilizing on the trade. We have our free margin, which is how much more capital within our account we can utilize to open up more positions. Now, in respects to where you are in the world, there is different leverage requirements depending if you're in Australia or if you're living abroad. Right, for Australian clients, the max leverage in which they can utilize is going to be 30-1 on currency pairs, and that'll differentiate between which instruments you are trading. For any international users, the leverage is different, you will have the ability to utilize 500-to-1 leverage. Now, if you're not sure what I mean by that, it's quite simple. Right? Let's just say hypothetically we have $100 in our trading account, right? And we can do it here. Calculate it together. We have $100 in our trading account, and the max leverage is 500, right? So if I times my $100 by 500, I have the ability to open up a position size worth 50,000 AUD, right? Now, in regards to this, 50,000 is 0.5, and that's going to be equivalent to $5 per pip. Leverage means that we can now utilize a much bigger position size as opposed to the balance in which we have in our account, right? And at this stage, we would be maxing out the leverage in which we can use on our position. And do keep in mind, depending on your base currency in the account, as we can see here is AUD, we can then trade 0.5 AUD. If we were looking to trade pound US dollar, the notional value of the pound is higher than what the Aussie dollar is worth. So we would have to redo our calculations to ensure that we were able to open up, or we would be going looking for how big of a position size we can open up on the pound, given that our base currency is in AUD. I'm going to explain that a little bit more in depth as we go on. I don't want to confuse you too much initially in the beginning. So in regards to it, leverage component, depending where you are in the world, it is specified on our website in regards to how much leverage you can utilize, but more or less, as mentioned, if you're starting with $100 and you have access to 500 leverage, depending on which pairs you're trading, they do differ between the instruments, but on currencies, the max is 500. You simply take the balance you have, times that by 500, and that's the max position size in which the platform will allow you to open. Now, in regards to that, if our equity drops to 50% of our balance, there is something known as a margin call. And what will happen is, for the biggest losing positions in which you have, they will start to close off to facilitate for any smaller trades in which you have open. So please be mindful of that. Leverage is something that needs to be used with caution and responsibility. Now, moving aside from that, I do want to get more or less into the one-click trading component and how to set up stop losses and take profits, and a little bit more in depth into as what they are. So we've set this trade up. We've elected to buy the AUD USD at 0.1, which is equivalent to $1 per pip. Now, let's say hypothetically we wanted to set up a stop loss where we were risking there around $100 or so. If I was to hold my cursor over the entry point in which I bought and I start to drag it down, we can see on the left-hand side of the screen, it says stop loss. And from there, it's telling us exactly how much we have at risk, right? So let's just say we wanted to risk somewhere around $100. We could drag it and drop. And then from there, we have our stop loss in place. Drop it down to a lower time frame. So here we have our stop loss, risking 98.27. So if the market does come down and tag our stop loss, we will lose $98.27. Okay. Now, if we were to set a take profit, we can click and drag to where we want to have it set. So let's just say we're looking to try and make just over $100 on our trade. We click, we drag, we drop. If the market was to come up to this level, it would react, it would close our position and cause us to walk away with a profit of $121.96 AUD. Quite simply as that. That's more or less how you set up a trade. From there, the trade is ready to go. And at any point, you can turn off your stop loss and take profit. And one of the beauties of trading through MT4 and MT5 is that there is no need to trade with a stop loss if you did not wish to. This is a margin trading account, which allows you to utilize your entire balance as your stop loss if need be. And that's completely up to the trader in himself, although there is that flexibility. So please keep that in mind. Now, let's just say I deleted those stop losses and take profits. I can always go in again at a later time. I can click and drag, set my trade up. And this is visually appealing because you can keep a close eye out on the price action and you understand exactly where the market is pricing at and how far away it is from your entry, your stop loss, and your take profit. Now, moving on from there, let's say we wanted to close out this position. We had enough of it. We didn't have any stop losses or take profit set up, or it was going in the wrong direction or was going in the right direction. We felt like we wanted to get away from the trade, whatever it may be. It's quite simple. All we need to do is come down and click our X. Once we close it, it's gone. It will appear in your history, and just then we made minus 42 cents, and that'll reflect in our balance going down by 42 cents. Quite simple. If I did want to jot over to the history, I can click on history, and then from here I can see that position in which it was closed. There will be a timestamp, a date. It'll have the price in which we closed. It'll have the volume, and then these are just some prior demo trades. If it comes up in green, this means a take profit has been hit. If it comes up in red, that means a stop loss has been hit. And overall, it'll give you a summary of your overall profit and loss throughout any given period. You can always right click, create a custom period, and go through if you want to check your trading history for the week, the month, the day, whatever it may be. You can even go through and check your entire history from the moment you opened up the trading account, which is quite useful to track your overall progress. Now, if I go back into AUD USD, I'm just going to go in and buy another trade and have it sitting there. I do want to explain a couple of the different functionalities and tools in which you can utilize. I will come back to that shortly. What I did want to highlight was deal specifications. Now, this is extremely important to understand a number of things. So, as mentioned, there is an aspect of leverage in which you're trading through a contract for difference. CFD is exactly in which what you're going to be doing through this platform. And that entails rolling fees, because as mentioned, you're trading with a bigger position in regards to what is actually within your trading account. So what we need to do is, let's say we are trading the AUD USD. If I right click and I head to specifications, here I can find a number of things, right? The spread type is floating, which means these spreads can widen and shrink depending on liquid and illiquid periods within the market. If I'm to scroll down, I can see my minimum and maximum trading volumes in which I can trade. So the minimal volume is going to be 0.01, which is the micro lot, and the maximal volume in which I can trade is going to be 50 standard lots. The swap type is in AUD, and the swap long or short. So as mentioned, right, for long, we're buying, for short, we're selling. So as the market's going higher, we're long, we are going to incur a $1.44 AUD swap charge on a daily basis on one standard lot. So that's equivalent to 100,000 in base units. And for the short side, we incur a $1.21 swap fee on a daily basis apart from Wednesdays. Wednesday is triple swap day to incorporate for the weekend. So if you are holding positions overnight, you will be hit with a swap fee, so do keep that in mind. And again, that'll be tailored to in regards to how big your position size is. If you're trading 0.1, it'll be 10% of either one, long or short. Your swap fee will also show in the column, given that you have it set up. If I was to right click in my toolbox and go to columns, from there, I can change in regards to what I look to see: percentage change, magic number, swap, profit, time, ticket. If I was to take the swap out, the swap fee, you will not be able to see it. If I was to put it in, the swap fee will highlight within your trade. Moving on from that, I did want to go through some different charting indicators and ways in which you can set different parameters. I'm not going to go through in depth in respects to how these charting indicators work. At a later time, we host a series of webinars in which you can be educated on the ways in different indicators are used throughout various trading strategies. But for now, I just want to show you how to set them up, potentially save templates and set parameters. So the first thing you'll need to do is head over to insert, and then I head over to indicators. And let's say I'm looking to add in something as simple as a moving average. Let's say I want to set my parameters. So let's say I want to go 100, sorry. Moving average, say I set a period of 100, set it to red. I can change the thickness of the line. And there it is there. I have a 100-period moving average, simply smoothing out the data, enabling us to understand the overall trend on a 100-period moving average. Quite simple. From there, I can add something a little bit more advanced. If I was to go to Insert, Indicators, and I go to Bollinger Bands. Not necessarily going to go in depth in regards to what Bollinger Bands are, but it's a technical instrument used to identify potentially oversold and overbought areas in the market, which can help you solidify entries, exits, stop losses, take profits, a number of things in which you can do with it. But here we can see our Bollinger Bands and our moving average has been implemented into the chart. If I was looking to change the properties and set parameters on my Bollinger Bands, I can go ahead and do exactly that by right-clicking, Properties, Bollinger Band, and I can go here and change it up. If I want to change the style, I can do that. I can make it red. I can play around with the settings. There's a number of things in which I can do to the parameters. And from there, if this was going to be a simple template, I can go in, save template. Let's just call it BB for Bollinger Bands. Bang, done. If I'm going to open up a new chart window, such as the New Zealand dollar CAD, I can open that up, right click, go to my templates, find BB, and bang, I have my Bollinger Bands paired with my moving averages. Quite simple, and you can save as many templates as you please. And this is useful because it saves you from going in and adding in the same indicators time and time again to the different charts in which you wish to have open. Moving on from there, I did want to explain to you a few of the functionalities in which you can use for some flexibilities when it comes to trade management. Now, this is quite simple, right? So we opened up this trade earlier. At the moment, we're sitting in a $1.97 profit. Let's say I wanted to close out a portion of this trade, right? And I wanted to take some of the profits in which we have on the table. If I was to double click on volume and half this position size to 0.05, it'll give me the option to close by 0.05, and I close by market. Once I click that, we can see now the trade size has been halved and our profit has also been halved. If we take a look in our history, we can see there that we've captured half of the profits on that trade. And then we have the flexibility to allow the other half to run out. And again, we can choose to close off whatever sort of portion in which we please, given that it is a full number. So let's say I want to close out another 0.02 of the trade. I do that. I have 0.03 remaining open. Now, this is a helpful tool for a number of reasons. So ideally, let's say we get into the Aussie dollar at 71 cents, the market tracks up to 72. We have a major economic announcement which could derail the Aussie dollar and cause it to fluctuate down. And we're thinking, well, we're in a decent profit. I want to take a little bit off the table and solidify some of the gains in which I've made. We can go in and close out a portion of that trade. We've captured our profits, and then we can allow the rest of that trade to run out. Now, on the flip side, let's say we had a losing position. So we have a position where we got in at 71, we didn't have any stop losses in place, or maybe we did and it was a little bit further away than where we're currently sitting at, and we're down X amount of dollars. We're thinking, okay, well, I might want to lighten up this position. I want to free up some of my margin. I don't want any risk of being margin called within my trade. You can go in and do the exact same process, and it'll close out a portion of your trade. It'll take the losses and it'll reduce the overall position size in which you have. Quite simple. So that's one of the beauties and why ACY attracts a lot of traders is the flexibilities in which we offer traders through our MetaTrader platforms. Moving on from there, we'll quickly close out this trade. And I did want to show you limit orders. Right now, for those of you who aren't familiar with limit orders, it's quite simple. You're more or less choosing a specified price in which you would like to get into a trade. So again, we'll stick to the AUD USD. If I was to right click and go to new order, in here, I can do a number of things, right? I can either take a trade at market execution, which means I'm going to get into the trade right then and there. So I could fill in my volume. I could set up a stop loss. Let's say we wanted to get out at 70 cents and we're looking to take a profit at 0.72. I can set this trade up just like we did on the one-click trading, and bang, there it is. They're set up, ready to go. The stop loss is in, the take profits in, and we can see them appear on the chart. That's not what we're covering. What we are covering is the limit orders. So again, we go to new order. We change our marks at execution to pending order. And here we have a series of pending order types. We have a buy limit, a sell limit, a buy stop, a sell stop, a buy stop limit, and a sell stop limit. I'm only going to be covering the top four. I don't want to confuse you, but more or less what we're doing here with the buy limit is we're specifying a price which is below the current market price in which we would be looking to enter a trade. So let's say we were looking to pick up some Aussie dollar at 0.70 at 70 cents. We choose our volume. Let's say we're looking to trade 0.15. And then from there, we were thinking, okay, we wanted to have a stop loss in at 69 cents, and we wanted to have a take profit up towards 0.72. We could go ahead and do exactly that. And now this has come up with place. All right. If I was to put in a price at 0.72, I'm unable to place this order because we have the order type wrong. A buy limit only allows you to place this order given that the price we have specified is below the market rate. If we're looking to buy above market rate, we have to set up a buy stop. We also have to change in our parameters because our take profit was set where we were looking to enter. Let's say we wanted to take profit at 74 and we wanted to have a stop loss at 70. We could do that. We could have no stop loss and take profit if we did not desire to do so, and we could add them in at a later time if need be. But more or less now we can actually place this order because the price in which we've specified in which we want to enter this position is above the market rate. And the same goes for the sell side. So more or less with a buy stop, sell stop, you're anticipating to get into a price and you're in hopes that the market will go up from the price in which it has been executed. On the flip side, we have our sell limit and sell stop. So sell limit again. So a sell limit is above market price. We can see here we can place this because 72 is above where the current price is. If I was to try and set it below, it's not going to work. What I will need to do is set up a sell stop, and then from there, I'm able to place my order. So let's set one up. We'll do a buy limit, 0.2 to 0.2, 20,000. It's going to be equivalent to $2 per pip. All right, we can set up a stop loss if we needed to at 0.70, and we can set up a take profit at 0.73, let's say. And then from there, we can place our order. And as we can see here within our trading terminal or trading toolbox, our order is sitting there. All right. Now, this is not a live trade. This will become a live trade if the market pushes down to that price, given that we make up for the spread. So if there's a 1 to 2 pip spread, whatever it may be, we need to ensure the market gets slightly below our specified price at 71 cents for our order then to fill. Once our order has filled, we will then be placed into a live trade, and this will reflect in your terminal, and your profit and loss will start the price. Now, at any given point, you wanted to delete your orders, you have the flexibility to do so. It's quite simple. Just click on the X and there goes your order. It's been deleted. You can do that at any given time and get rid of any orders that you do not want. So I'll quickly show you that again. New order, pending order, buy limit, let's say 71 cents. We place, and there it is. We can always go in and edit it at a later time. We can go in, we can change, we can pop in a stop loss if need be. We can pop in a take profit. We can do whatever we please. So that, modify, bang, done. We now have a stop loss and a take profit in. If I wanted to delete them, I can click the X just like we did on the live trade. And there it is, ready to go. We'll get rid of that. So that's limit orders covered. Moving on from there, they're the main functionalities in which you can utilize, although there is a number of other little hidden featured tools in which you can use within the platform. Like I said, you have your history, you can input a news tab, you have a mailbox, and you also have a calendar. The calendar is the financial calendar, will highlight any important economic events that are coming up with a certain period, which could potentially impact a particular currency pair. So do keep that in mind. The calendar is inbuilt into the platform. One thing you can see here is experts. For those of you who are unaware, MT4 and MT5 have the functionalities to be able to plug in EAs, otherwise known as expert advisors. These are trading robots in which you can set particular parameters in which they trade for you. And we do welcome EA traders. So if you were looking to utilize an expert advisor, we can't give any direct advice in regards to which EA you use, but do know that the platform does facilitate to those who are looking to use EA traders amongst it. I did want to cover also stocks, because stocks are a little bit different in respects to their pricing. So we've got a stock here, which is Target. Again, we have our indicators set up on here, not currently pricing because the US stock market is currently closed. But if it was, we have our position size here. Now, depending on if you're trading top value shares or ordinary shares, like I showed you initially in the beginning of the walkthrough, top value shares, the minimum trade size in which you can trade. So I will show you the minimum trade size in which you can trade is 10. And then for your ordinary shares, the minimum position size in which you can trade is 100. So if I was to go into my specifications, scroll down, I can see here the minimal volume is 100 shares and the maximal volume is 1,000 shares. And it also specifies the swap rates and it also specifies the commissions. Now, in regards to trading shares through MT5, MT4 does not facilitate to share trading, whereas MT5 does, although the functionalities between the two are pretty much exactly the same. So if you can use MT4, you'll definitely be able to use MT5 and vice versa. Although if you are looking to trade shares, it will need to be done through MetaTrader 5. So in respects to that, again, you can both buy and sell, go long and short on your shares. We have our swap fees. In regards to trading shares, there are your commissions. So on our US shares, it's 0.02, so 2 cents per standard lot. So that's per share in this scenario. And in regards to that as well, we do pay dividends on the shares as well. So depending when a company is releasing their dividends, whether it's around earnings season or whenever it may be, that's going to be for you to research in regards to which company you're trading. We do pay dividends on share CFDs. All right, so do bear that in mind. But that's more or less the breakdown in regards to position sizing for shares. If you're trading an instrument like gold, so 0.01 on gold is equivalent to 1 ounce. So think about it. The price here is equivalent to 1 ounce of gold in US dollars. All right, so if I'm trading 0.01, 1 ounce, each dollar up or down in gold is going to equivalent to a $1 profit or loss. If I was to trade 0.1, this is going to be equivalent to 10 ounces, and that's going to be $10 per $1 move up or down in gold. All right, so please bear that in mind. And then if you were to trade indices, for instance, let's say you were trading the S&P 500 and we were looking to trade one standard contract. So one standard contract is going to be equivalent to $1 per point. So let's say the S&P is trading at 4,500 and it goes to 4,501. That's 1 point. All right, we talk about currencies in pips. We talk about indices in points. 1 point, $1 move up or down, given we're trading one standard contract. If we're trading 5 standard contracts, that's going to be equivalent to $5 per point up or down. So please bear that in mind. Importantly, I did want to say as well, I mentioned this before in regards to AUD USD, but again, let's say the balance is in AUD, our base currency is in Aussie dollars, and we're looking to trade gold against the US dollar. Please bear in mind, this is the US dollar value of 1 ounce. So in reality, the Aussie dollar at the moment is trading around 71 cents, right? So if I was to trade 1 ounce of gold, so let's say currently pricing at, pricing at 1782.34. One way to calculate this is quite simple. I go 1782.34, and I can divide that by the current Aussie dollar rate, which is 71,166, thereabout. So the equivalent in Aussie dollars is going to be 2,487.21 per ounce. All right, so this is important to understand your position sizing. So when we say $1 move up or down, that's going to be in the US dollar equivalent. And as we know, the US dollar is higher than what the Aussie dollar is. So in respects to that, your position sizing is larger because the base currency on the trade is not in AUD. It's paired against the US dollar. So please bear that in mind. If anyone has any confusion in respects to that, feel free to reach myself or one of the account managers in which we have. We'll be able to explain that more so thoroughly and in depth for you. But in respects to that, that's more or less the overall functionalities of how to navigate through the MetaTrader platform. We've covered a series of things from our market watch list, the one-click trading, position sizing, deal specifications. We've gone through the different charting indicators. We've looked at our limit orders. We've looked at partial take profits and partial closing trades, which are the beginning fundamentals of what it takes to be able to navigate through the platform and how to utilize the different tools on offer. There is a lot more you can do with the platform, but I would not want to sit here and flood your brain with any more information than what I've provided this evening. What I do want to do is go over a couple of things in which ACY have on at the moment, a few of the different promotions we have in regards to new clients and trading in itself. So I'll head back over to the platform and then we'll do a little bit of a Q&A at the end. So at the moment, extremely exciting times for ACY Securities. On a yearly basis, we host something that's called our Trading Cup. There's no other event like this within the market through other brokers. And more or less what it is, it's a one-year trading contest. And this year we've upped the ante with a $1 million prize pool. First place will receive a $500,000 trading account to manage, and they will receive 50% of those profits. Traders will be ranked on a series of criteria, such as winning percentages, some profit versus some loss, average return, including many other key aspects regarding what it takes to be a top trader. And the beauty of it is anyone can enter, whether you're a beginner trader, intermediate trader, you're a professional trader, all the way to an institutional trader. Anyone can take part, and the link is there below at www.tradingcup.com to find out further information. Now, on top of that, we have a few different promotions and incentives for new traders. So before I do go forward, if anyone is here in the webinar from Australia, unfortunately, Australians can participate within the Trading Cup, or they are not eligible for any prizes due to recent ASIC regulations, although they will receive a participation certificate. We also have, in respects to new accounts, we have our spin and win offer. Again, if you are an Australian sitting within this webinar, Australian clients are not eligible for spin and win or welcome bonuses. More or less what spin and win is, it's on offer this year. We're offering a Bentley Continental, an Audi R8, there's a Porsche Macan, there's a whole bunch of electronics up for grabs. And each spin and win, you are guaranteed to win something. The minimum prize in which you can win is a $30 cash prize, and you'll get a free spin and win on any deposits of $2,000 and above in your base currency. And also for the newer trader, we are offering a welcome bonus where you can receive 60% on a deposit up to $250 and 15% on a deposit in between $1,000 and $20,000. Now, in regards to it, ACY Securities All Round is a service-based broker. So anyone new here to trading will be assigned a personalized account manager. Now, what that'll entail is the account manager taking you through a series of coaching, training, market analysis, whatever it may be in which you're looking to learn throughout your trading. Feel free to take down my contact details. My best email address is lenny.volpicella@acy.com. I've also got my direct number there. If you have any questions in respects to the platform, ACY Securities training, or more or less you're just looking to talk markets, then my number and email is always welcome to you. I hope after tonight's demonstration, I've sat back and showed you the fundamentals of how to utilize and use MetaTrader 5. I'll hang back for the next 10 minutes or so and answer any questions that you may have in the Q&A. Okay, please, in case I have more charts, how do I set all at once without wasting time? So one of the questions was, in any case, how do I set charts so they can appear on all my charts? As mentioned, you build the template, you save the template, you then open up a chart, and then from there, you right click, go to your templates, click on the save template name, and it'll put that template straight onto the chart for you. I got another question here in regards to how to change the colors of the candles. I'll show you that real quick. So let me just head back over to MetaTrader. So again, head to properties. And then here we have bar up, bar down, which is the outline of the candle. And then we have bull candle, bear candle. So bull candle representing the market going higher, bear candle representing the market going lower. So let's say I wanted to set my bull candle to blue and my bear candle to yellow. For instance, I could go ahead and do exactly that. And there it is. The colors of the candles have been changed for you. So I hope that answers that question. What else do we have? Please already have an account on the MT4, which I plan to switch to MT5. I will be charged an inactive fee on the MT4 account in case I no longer fund it. No, you will not. You can trade on your either account in which you're trading on symbolizes that there's activity. There will not be charges on a singular dormant account, given that you're trading on another active account with us. I want to trade shares on MT5, but I realize the minimum volume required is 100, which to me is very high. We'll be glad if something could be done about it. As mentioned, 100 is only going to be on the ordinary shares, which are the mid to lower tier shares. From there, the minimum volume is 10 on the top value shares. These are the minimum position sizing. And don't forget, you can utilize leverage on shares. If you are external to Australia, you can have 25-to-1 leverage. And for those Australian clients, it is down at 5-to-1. And we have another question here. How do I view 4 charts at the same time, e.g. all time frames at the same screen? I'll quickly show you how to do that. So as I showed you before, there's a way in which you can utilize this. So let's just say I open up another chart, right? I'll have to set them all. So let's set it to 4 hour, 4 hour, 4 hour, 4 hour. There's a little bar here that says arrange windows. I can click on that. And from there, I have all 4 charts displayed on the same time frame. Quite simple. And you can have as many as you please, however many you can fit in the screen. All right. They were the mass of the questions. If anyone's got anything else, I'll hang back over the next couple of minutes. I'll show you real quick as well while we're here, just to go over it. How do I set all of, so let's say we have here, right? We have our trade set up. There is a way in which you can save a template. Click on save template. There's a way in which you call it standard, I believe. And every time you open up a chart, window, there is a hotkey for it. Every time you open up the same chart window, it'll open up that chart for you. Otherwise, it's quite simple. Let's say we've loaded this chart. We can go to our templates, and then from there we select BB. We have our Bollinger Bands, and we have our moving average on the chart there ready to go. Okay, so how do I remove the indicators if I no longer need them? Yeah, quite simple, right? So I can either right click on the indicator and delete the indicator, or I can go to indicators list, highlight, delete, and the indicator is gone. And if you're looking to remove the charts that you no longer require, so let's say we've got all of our charts here, X, 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 bang, done. All our charts are gone. If there's no further questions, I hope you enjoyed this evening's webinar. I'll quickly post up my contact details one more time for you. Jot them down, lenny.volpasella@acy.com. Take down my direct line. More than happy to have a chat with you at any given time in regards to our account offerings, account types, the platforms. If you're looking for some coaching and training to assist you along with your trading, please feel free to reach out. I got one more question, I believe, in which came through. No problem, Lils. More than happy to help. I hope that touched up your questions in which you had. But yeah, overall, I'll wrap it up at that. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Keep safe given the current climate the world is in. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you all in the near future. Have a great evening and bye for now.